Hey guys, so the first presidential debate has officially come and gone, and today I'm just going to be talking about basically what I thought about the whole debate, who I thought did a better job, what I thought kind of some of the highlights and lowlights were on both sides. So the first thing I want to do is talk about this poll that was released by CNN, which has been taken on all sorts of other websites, and it's been kind of the official kind of poll of who supposedly won the debate. I'm sure lots of you have seen it. The 67% favored Hillary Clinton to have won the debate. Now, when this poll was initially announced on CNN, I just want to play the clip of how it was announced and an explanation of how the poll was actually conducted.
This sample of debate watchers in this poll is 41% Democratic, 26% Republican. That is about 10 points more Democratic and 2 points less Republican than our typical national polls when we do the regular telephone survey of the country. So this definitely skews Democratic, more Democratic than a normal poll, and it skews to a Hillary Clinton audience. So keep that in mind as we now will reveal to you who won the debate according to this audience. Overwhelmingly, Hillary Clinton. 62% of Americans, of those that watched the debate tonight in this audience, said Hillary Clinton won, compared to 27% who said Trump won.
I mean, so I don't even know why they use this poll. I mean, if you're going to flat out admit that the poll is extremely biased and is not a representation of the average American, then why even bother putting the poll? Because now people are going to see this poll on all sorts of different websites, all sorts of different news networks. They're going to see the 67% Clinton and think it's completely accurate and have no idea how biased the initial polling actually was. So it's completely unfair because people don't bother to look into, how the poll was conducted. They just look at the results and are going to have this image idea. Because of course CNN is going to paint Hillary Clinton as the winner. They're clearly a liberally biased network, as most of them are. Now, lots of the other polls, like the online polls, like there was New York Times, like lots of different websites, like, reputable news websites that can use the kind of same poll. It was like the same poll, but on all different websites. Had like over 1.7 million votes on the poll, and it was like 70%. It was some ridiculously high amount that Trump was the clear winner of the debate. So the point is, like, polls can go either way. Obviously, the networks the liberal media is gonna sway polls to make it look a certain way, and the same thing is going to happen on the other side. Then when you just look at online polls, you don't really know how those have been manipulated. So I don't know, polls like that I've never really trusted. So I'm basically just going to talk about what I think. So overall, I don't think either of them really nailed it. I think they both did okay. Entertainment-wise, by the way, it was fantastic. I thought it was great. They were attacking each other. It was nonstop. 90 minutes flew by. It felt like it was 20 minutes long. So, I mean, for entertainment purposes, I thought it was great. I mean, I've never really watched a debate before. So I haven't been the first debate. I've seen, like, high entertainment value, that's for sure. So how they actually performed is a little different. So I think Donald really nailed a few points, but he really had a lot of missed opportunities as well. I think he came out aggressive right off the bat, which I like. A lot of people don't. I like that about him. I like that he's aggressive. He's to the point. I don't know. I like the back and forth. People say, like, he interrupted too much, but I mean, I kind of like that because Hillary did the same thing. Like, if he would butt in and say something, she would butt in right back and say something. So, I mean, I kind of like that. And Lester, the moderator, he kind of let them do that, which I thought was great. So the first clip I want to play is regarding the tax returns for Trump. Now, the audience had been pre-warned that they weren't supposed to, like, cheer or applause for anything the candidates might say. And this is the first time, a couple times people cheered, even though they weren't supposed to, but this was really the first time that the audience actually broke out and cheered, even though they weren't supposed to, when he was basically rebuttaling his tax returns with Hillary Clinton's, with her emails. So let me play that.
I will say this. We have a situation in this country that has to be taken care of. I will release my tax returns against my lawyer's wishes when she releases her 33,000 emails that have been deleted. As soon as she releases them, I will release my tax returns.
So, I mean, really, there it is. I mean, the Clinton supporters are going to go on and on and on about his taxes, and then the Trump supporters are going to go on and on and on about her emails. I don't think we're going to get either before the election. I don't think Trump is going to release his tax returns. And me, I don't care. As a Trump supporter, I could not care less about his tax returns. Whereas Hillary's emails to me are a lot more important. Who knows what was in those? I mean, 33,000 deleted emails. That could have been, who knows what could have been in there. Who knows what could come out, having seen those released. I mean, the worst that we would see is Donald Trump's tax returns is his maybe avoiding paying taxes, which is going to be my next clip where Hillary Clinton pointed that out, and this was his response.
Or maybe he doesn't want the American people, all of you watching tonight, to know that he's paid nothing in federal taxes, because the only years that anybody's ever seen were a couple of years when he had to turn them over to state authorities when he was trying to get a casino license, and they showed he didn't pay any federal income tax. So
that makes
if
me
he's
smart.
paid zero.
So, I mean, that's really it. He basically admits that he goes to the loopholes to try and pay as little taxes as possible, and he says that makes me smart. And honestly, I mean, I kind of agree. I know everyone gets all up in arms because they're like, oh, that's tax money that he should have paid that could have gone towards the military or towards, whatever. But I mean, every businessman does that. Everybody, does their best to pay the little amount of taxes as possible. That's just good business. I mean, you want your business to take in as much money as possible, and you go through all the different loopholes. I mean, as long as he's not doing anything illegal, which we have no reason to believe, then there's nothing wrong with going through loopholes to try and pay as little taxes as possible. And honestly, a lot of the ways you avoid paying taxes is by giving lots of money towards charity, because it's it comes off of your taxes. So I mean, yeah, if he's not paying taxes, if he's avoiding paying taxes by donating lots of money to charity, then who cares? Even if the only reason he's donating is to avoid paying taxes, it doesn't matter. At least money is going towards something. And I doubt there's anything else that could come from his tax returns. I mean, that's it. He already admitted that he probably didn't pay as much taxes as you might expect him to. So if he's willing to admit that, then what else are we looking for in his taxes, really? And I don't think many of his supporters really care. I think there are a lot more important things that people are worried about. His plan for the economy, immigration. I mean, there's things that are way more important than his tax returns or how much he paid in taxes. So with that whole back and forth, I think he kind of had her on that, because her issue seems, a lot more, could be potentially a lot more severe, all the deleted emails, than his tax return. So now another big thing was Trump was going after was her stamina. Obviously, with all of her health issues, she fainted on her way into her car. Everybody saw that video. There's lots of concerns about her stamina and how well she'll be able to kind of perform day to day, all the strenuous work or whatever that is necessary to be the president. So he attacked her on that, and she had a really good response, which I'm going to play right now, but let me play the response first and then I'll explain.
You have so many different things you have to be able to do, and I don't believe that Hillary has the stamina.
Let's let her respond.
Well, as soon as he travels to 112 countries and negotiates a peace deal, a ceasefire, a release of dissidents, an opening of new opportunities in nations around the world, or even spends 11 hours testifying in front of a congressional committee, he can talk to me about stamina.
The world, let me tell you.
So, good response. It was like, oh, like, she got you type of moment. The only problem is, the only reason I don't like it so much is because it was obviously planned ahead of time. Like, she obviously had that written out because she knew he was going to say something about the stamina. So she had this long thing written out of how she was going to respond. So it was so kind of planned that it makes it less effective. Because Trump really didn't seem to have anything planned, and everybody says that's such a bad thing. But to me, I can be able to take him a lot more seriously because I know what he's saying is coming right from his mind, right from his thoughts. And I know he means all the things he's saying, as opposed to where if she comes out and has all these things planned, and I don't mean like, obviously he needs to have his ideas planned, he needs to, but the actual specific words, I'd rather hear it come from a real person than a politician, which obviously that's the biggest thing between the two of them, is he's an outsider and she's a career politician. So as a typical career politician would, she had, these lines planned ahead of time, came out and used them, said them in her, ooh, I got you kind of moment. There was another moment when the audience cheered. But I mean, that's the type of line it was. It was like a cheer line, So she's really good at those, having those lines that gets the crowd all excited. In where they're planned, whereas Trump can get that out of the crowd just from off-the-cuff marks or things that he comes up with right there in the spot. He can still get the crowd excited. So again, that's another way they're kind of different. So another highlight for Trump, I would say, is when he called her out basically on the fact that just because she has experience, it doesn't mean that's necessarily a good thing. Because that's her other kind of big thing on the Democratic side, is they think she's so much better because she has all this experience, whereas Donald Trump has none. But he brings up the point that just because you have years of experience doesn't mean that's a good thing. I mean, it's years of bad experience. Somebody on some talk show, and I wish I could remember what it was, but I can't, made the kind of comparison where she was like, oh, I think it was Paula Ferris on The View. And she said, oh no, Jedediah. It was that girl Jedediah on The View, I think. But she said you could go to Columbia University and get all Fs. You're not going to say, oh, well, I went to Columbia University. It's the fact that you got all Fs that's more important. Same thing with Hillary. Like, she has all this years of experience, but if it was all bad experience, then who cares? You can't use that as an argument to support her if the experience is all bad experience, just because she has the experience. And then Donald Trump called her out saying, like, after 30 years, like, why are you just coming up with these solutions now? I thought that was great. Because, it's true. Like, all these issues of everything that's going on, Obama has been the president for the past almost 8 years, and she has basically said from the beginning that she's just going to continue his kind of presidency. It's really just going to be a third term for Obama, but with Hillary as president. So why haven't they, done this before? She's willing to admit, like, the race relations is a huge issue. She's basically like, the economy is in trouble. Our foreign affairs aren't good right now. She's basically admitted that there's all sorts of problems right now. And then she's also admitted that she's just going to continue the same path that we've been going on for the past 8 years. So I don't understand what her message is for what she's going to do that's different, because clearly we need to do something different, and her kind of whole campaign is about how we're just going to continue to do the same thing. So I don't know, that's where she loses me on that. So anyway, overall, I don't really think either candidate accomplished much in the sense of converting new supporters for them. I think all the Trump supporters are going to like what he did and continue to support him. He came out like typical Trump would. And I think all the Clinton supporters, same thing. She came out just like you would expect, kind of polished career politician, and all her supporters like that, and they're going to continue to like her and support her. And for the independent voters, they basically saw from Donald what they have seen already, and they saw from Hillary what they have seen already. So I don't know really how much it's going to sway independent voters, or how much it's going to do to bring, supporters from her over to him or from him over to her. I do think it was a better night for Donald, just in the sense that people got to hear him talk about actual policy, for the first time. Not that he hasn't before. He's always been clear about all of his plans from the very beginning. The only problem is that those ideas or his plans don't get put in the media. So everyone just thinks, oh, he has no idea, he has no policies, he has none of this. He's just he just attacks people. And that's just because that's the only thing they play in the media. He's had plans from the beginning. You can go on his website, his whole plan for immigration reform, his whole plan for the economy. He's had all these ideas from the beginning. People just don't bother to seek out that information. They just get their news from the liberal media, which obviously is going to portray him in a negative way and portray Hillary Clinton in a positive way. But I'm really looking forward to the second debate. I hope they talk more. I hope they talk, well, not more, but I hope they talk about immigration. They didn't talk anything about immigration at all. And I hope Donald Trump hits a little bit harder on things like the emails, Benghazi, just her overall, just her being corrupt as a whole. I think he needs to be more on the offense next time, whereas he was really more on the defense for this debate, which I think he did good, but I'd rather see him on the offense, because we never really see Hillary Clinton having to defend all these things she's done, because she never appears on the news. She never takes interviews with anybody, so she never has anyone kind of pushing her on these issues where she has to respond. So I would like to see either the moderator or Donald Trump really kind of push her more on those things so we can actually get some answers out of her. And that's basically it. So yeah, tell me what you guys think below. Obviously, I'm a Trump supporter. I'm a Republican. So I know everyone's just going to think that I think he did better because I support him. But I think he did a little better, honestly. I'm not saying he blew her out of the water. She did okay, but again, she just had her typical politician answers. So tell me what you think below. What do you think, who did better? Any highlights you think I might have missed that you want to talk about? And I will see you next time.